Greetings, everyone. You have your ticket? You don't have one? No problem, my friend. Here's the subscription button below. Come on in. Hey, guys, DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, guys, I promise you I'm going to keep this video short. But this picture is going around on the internet. And I just want to share this, just so that anyone who might think there's a similarity between these two pictures, I want to make it perfectly clear to you. See this picture here? Sorry, give me a sec. You see this picture right here? Can you see that? The top picture? You see those slaves half naked on the slave ship? And then you see the people down there in the detention center? The top picture and the bottom picture, this at the top is not that at the bottom. And I want to make sure that this is crystal clear. And I'm going to tell you something. Men like myself, we're offended about anybody who would think that those two pictures are the same picture. Because first of all, you're talking about 500 years of enslavement, raping, hanging, maiming, selling off people's children, breaking people's teeth out of their mouth, force feeding them, dehumanizing them, calling them cattle, 3/5 of a human being. How is that comparable to somebody being in a detention center that's here waiting to be deported to go back to their country? You're in the detention center for some months. Maybe you're in there for a year or two. But how is that compared to 500 years of enslavement? See, it's disrespectful. And this message is to copper color people, Hebrew Israelites. See, that's one of the problems, because if we let this stuff happen and we don't take a stand against it, therefore our enemies feel like they can just disrespect us, not listen, not hear what we have to say, not take us serious because of shit like that. Because we look at, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. Even your Bible tells you a little bit of yeast causes the whole loaf to rise. And what it's telling you is don't let that mold, sit on your fruit. Another comparison, because it'll rot the whole fruit. So the little things matter because the little things affect ultimately the big things. And I'm going to tell you, so-called people of color, African Americans, copper color, Hebrew Israelites. You had better learn how to stop and desist. Stop and desist. That's a legal term. Most of you guys are familiar with that. In other words, you let them know, I'm not having that. I'm not tolerating that. Our plight as the descendants of slaves, the descendants of Jim Crow, the descendants of black codes, the descendants of all of the atrocities that have happened to the original people on this particular continent, this particular country, who on the backs of our ancestors and many of us slaving every single day for minimum wages, just enough to keep food on the table if we can. Mass incarcerated. I heard someone say today there are more black men in prison in the United States than any other country on the planet. In terms of, I think they were talking about, there are more black men in the United States in prison. If you took all the women on the continent who were incarcerated, there are more black men right here in America in prison. And we already know. Think about the Central Park Five. Think about the Scottsboro Boys. We can go on and on and on, if you want me to, of how many men who were incarcerated and they were innocent. So I don't hear all the stuff that black men are in prison because of the crimes they commit. The FBI statistics show 8.5 out of 10 serious crimes that happen to whites are perpetrated by whites. 9 out of 10 serious crimes that happen to blacks are perpetrated by blacks. You should know those numbers by now. So we're no more inclined to nefarious behavior than any other ethnic group. And again, those same statistics are true for Hispanics. Those same statistics are true for Asians and any other ethnic group. If you go to India, you're going to find Indians in India committing crimes against Indians. So don't, when people live together who have more access to each other, that's where you're going to have those people. If they're going to be any kind of act of violence, criminal behavior, it's typically going to be to those because they're more accessible. I digress. But back to this picture. And anyone who thinks that our plight is the same plight of anybody in the detention center, I'm going to say to you again, it is no comparison whatsoever. Was your great-great-grandmother raped, hung, sold, abused, misused? Oh, by the way, used for medical experience? Yes, a lot of black women and men were used for medical experiences. Many of these slave owners who were doctors used our grandparents, our ancestors for medical experience, including ovarian cancer, brain tumors, etc., cutting open their skulls, going into their vagina, and doing all kinds of tests against, men and women. Did this happen to your people in this country? Is that going on in the detention centers in this country? I think not. Probably didn't happen to your people in your own countries. So take me serious when I say this, and with all seriousness. It's unacceptable, and, we don't appreciate it. And any coon out there, and I'm going to call your ass a coon, if you think that this is okay behavior, then you're a sellout to your own people. There's no other ethnic group will allow you to disrespect their history like that. No other ethnic group will allow you to do that. To disrespect their history in terms of the sacrifices that their ancestors made for liberty and for freedom. There's no ethnic group on this planet that would be okay with you disrespecting their elders. So why do you feel compelled as a man of color or woman of color to think that that would be okay and acceptable? It is not. Our plight has nothing to do with what's going on in the detention centers. The detention centers, with all of their issues that they have, and I'll even say the atrocities that could be happening in those detention centers. They disgust me as much as they disgust any of you. But it's not the same. There's no comparison between the two. None. Our history as being people of enslaved, aboriginal, enslaved people of this country for 500 years and still going, if you count the prison system, has no similarity whatsoever to people being behind fences inside of a detention center. There is no comparison. And unless you're out of your mind, loco, you should already know that. But in case you don't know, now you know. And again, any person of color and any person of humanity, regardless of your color, who would compare and contrast this, you're not worthy. You're not worthy to be respected. Your opinion is like a butthole. It's a shithole. You're not worthy to be given consideration because you're ignorant and you're stupid and you don't know history. Now, as I was saying, put that in your damn, pipe and smoke it.